Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
It's going to be like 1 minute, and then we're going to be live.
Open it for that. Thank you. Okay. Oh, awesome.
Right, and I know the, talking about the singing campaign, it's like, well, that was already done, I knew that.
See, it's funny how I look at it for 8 years, but then when I go to
the other day.
rethink it,
This is you. Okay. So- Okay, so this was the previous. All right.
this is definitely darker. It's got different shading.
See, right?
Now we're doing Thursday late, guys, we're trying to get our act together.
Power line meetings, you know, it's like.
I know. Did you make it to that? I didn't.
No, but I had to get all my signatures.
Yeah, but I
so-
sent my signatures over there. Well, and then we did the, you know, we made the statement last night that's going forward tonight too. So,
Okay.
for the town.
It's under here. This goes there.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Got this all together now.
People are excited to see this happen.
Mm-hmm.
People are excited to see that come
I know. My neighbors.
together. Okay, this is your winner then. No?
Nope, I got mine right here.
I've got one too. Do you have yours? Okay.
Is that on mine?
I got an extra. It's all good. What does this go to? Is that for this?
Okay, I guess we'll call the ARB meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Barrow.
Here.
Day.
Here.
Ring.
Here.
Larson.
Here.
Edwards.
Here.
Swinford.
Here.
Zimnock.
Here.
Okay, since we got a quorum, we can move on. On the agenda, we have citizens' time. This is typically for citizens who want to make comment outside of their COAs. Do we have anybody out there who might want to make a comment?
I think you should print on the front and back of paper, so you don't waste.
Does our copier do
Yeah,
that?
does our copier have that capability?
I think it does.
We do recycle if that helps.
Yes.
We do recycle.
It's a program for this.
Okay.
I would like to make a statement real quick, can I?
As a citizen?
As a citizen.
Okay.
I would like to object to the fact that Mr. Ring is here, sitting on the ARB, due to the fact that his house is for sale and vacant, and he, as far as I know, does not reside in the town anymore.
Okay. That noted, I haven't been given any status on residency.
I
yet,
understand that.
So
But I would just
gotta
like to
assume
say
that
that
it's
for
still
my,
active. Okay. Okay, we'll move on. Minute approval. If you look at last month's minutes. Yeah, if I could get a motion.
I make a motion to approve the Wednesday, June 17th, 2015 meeting minutes of the Architectural Review Board.
I got a motion. Any second? Okay, motion and a second. Anybody have any comments, corrections they would like to make before we vote? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any
I'm going to
abstain?
abstain, I wasn't here.
Okay, one abstain. Okay. Put my signature on here real quick.
Bless you. All right.
And now we'll move on to the certificate of appropriateness. The first one we have is the roof replacement and exterior work of 6601 Jefferson Street. I guess we'll open it up for discussion. This is a large one, so. Yeah, if you could put some comments.
This building used to be where the post office was decades ago. And we want to, it's in desperate need of repair. So when we thought about going in, I think this is the original roof. We want to replace the roof. We want to replace the T111, which is the siding on the front and the back. And to do that, we thought, well, let's lighten the building up a little bit. It's that dark brown roof is very, very heavy, and so that's why I'm here. We also have tried to find some solutions to other issues that we think will enhance the appeal of the building. So I gave Jennifer pictures of a building in Haymarket that we want to replicate that color combination.
It's up here, am I right, it's up here?
Right, it's where there's a salon there. Salon style.
No.
It's the,
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Are the materials going to be the same, essentially asphalt shingle and
Yeah,
still T11
yeah.
siding?
Except the shingle will be an architectural shingle. That's not what's up there now. But it will be T111, although it will be installed a little differently because it was not installed properly before. So I think that this will lighten that building a lot. We're going to do the kind of tannish for the T111 and the block on the first floor. Then we want to put up shutters, very similar to this building. We're going to do a light architectural gray for the roof. We're going to widen the window trim a little bit around the windows on the second floor. Not the dormers, but the ones on the front and the back. Then we were looking at the back of this building, which is where most of the customers will park. And it's just one massive facade now. So we would like to install
they want to match
a
this.
roof across the back, a shed roof. I point out that there was one there originally when the post office was there. But when they left, it was in such bad shape, we just went ahead and removed it. So this would have columns, 4 columns. The roof will match the roof on the main building, and we will do the trim in this light cream. So I hope that this will kind of break up the back of the building so it's not quite as imposing. And we also want to, forgive me, I did not get these pictures until today. There, along the side of the building, the south side of the building, is where the condensers are and the electric meter. And that, too, is pretty not very attractive.
Yeah.
So we want to put up a screen fencing to cover those up. And may I approach? This is what the builder is recommending. It'll be 5 feet tall.
Oh, okay.
Is this,
Is it trucks or is it wood?
That's actually a composite material.
Composite.
Now, it
That's the word.
can't be painted, so if it doesn't match the side of the building, then he'll build it out of board so we can paint it to match the side of the building.
Okay.
Or the trim, one or the other, but it has to coordinate with something. I don't want to introduce a new color.
Okay.
And can you just come up here real quick and show us exactly where on our site plan is going?
This.
it's just a short chunk, you're not planning it? Okay.
Yeah, it's strictly to cover the meters and trash.
The picture.
Okay.
I also had a question about the shingles.
Yes.
Yeah,
Here on our sheet that Jen provided,
They look brown.
they look brown. Is this not the color you're going to use?
I have,
Actually, it's the shingle that the little arrow is pointed to.
These?
what color did she put on there?
This one.
Right, that's the one.
It still looks kind of brown, but you say it's more gray.
We have an actual sample of it.
Perfect.
We got the samples right here.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
You guys got copies from the.
Yeah, I know, they never
color
photocopy.
was it?
Right.
This one.
No, it's actually this one.
Okay.
And that's
So
the,
it must be, the arrow must have,
Yes.
The aged
No.
wood. Okay, let me put
it's
that
not
in
even
there.
on here.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's okay, we just photographed the
We can
wrong
put
one.
it in. Just write the name. We'll just write the name in.
Yep. Okay.
It's called
By aged wood.
Aged Wood Classic Heritage Colors.
No, I don't want any more brown on this building.
What's it?
Tamco.
Tamco Heritage Premium Edition.
This is the,
So it's that with, do we actually have the paint color or
and
samples of
their
it?
architectural shingles too. Is that already in there?
And also the,
Board screening, condensing agent.
the porch roof you're going to put in.
Yes.
Do you know what style columns you're going to be
There'll
putting
be
up there?
round columns.
Okay, they're just going to be tapered round?
Yes.
Not
I
a,
would try to match the ones that are on the little portico on the
portico.
side.
okay. Okay, let me put that in here, style.
So this is the
Portico.
colors.
I don't know if that
This
was
is
in
the
there, I
color
didn't see
scheme.
that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, you mean in the original application?
Yeah, and the description, so I'm trying to get all this stuff for the descriptions.
On the winter windows? Because it has a
Yeah.
brown roof?
Don't talk to me. I mean,
What did
this
she
is,
say she wanted to do with the
Oh, let me see.
these are the colors.
Let me
here.
put them up there.
portico? She makes something,
No, it's this one.
paint
Still,
They
the,
still,
or replace the
so this is
soffits.
the paint
Mhm.
and the trim.
Actually, I might, I guess, look like
Okay.
this together. Although, I mean, I guess it's gonna look more like this. One of the things that, if I might make a comment with discussing?
Yeah.
Okay, one of the things that often you wanna watch out for in a project like this is not having the roof too similar to the walls
Yes.
color. Because then, instead of a contrast,
Right.
you have this big blob
Right.
of whatever color it is. And that can, the building can get lost, and so the
Right.
contrast is where you're looking. I do question whether or not that roof will read, because it does have some nice flakes of that almost exact color. I don't know. I mean, I guess it would,
I think it's just a perfect.
Well, our goal,
it doesn't contrast as much as I might if
Yeah.
I were the owner.
our goal is to replicate this look.
Right, but that has a brown roof. I mean, a much,
Really, it's kind of gray.
oh, okay.
Did you say this is? Sometimes these printers don't do
No.
justice to the colors, so.
It's great, we have samples, thanks.
Some other comments I have off the top of my head here. Yeah, this building is a complete hodgepodge of
Yes.
many ages and archetypes.
Although I will show you a picture I found.
So
The original?
out back is the
Oh.
loading dock, and that's where she's going to build
This little barn building
the portico over it.
looks pretty nice, doesn't it? Besides the fact that Scott Walker's standing in front of it.
Wow, I've never seen it at that. Yeah, it's not a bad looking.
It's just a picture out of today's post
Right.
of Scott Walker in Iowa.
Yeah, just the fact that the barn building. But now, you were going to use, horizontal siding, or are you planning on putting board and batten?
T111,
Oh, I thought you.
It's the same thing.
Okay, you were replacing.
which has
you said
kind of
replacing-
a vertical seam.
Right. Yeah, I thought when you said replacing T111, I thought replacing with something else.
So this is we're kind of keeping most of the same materials.
Okay.
Shed roof.
Right,
for
right.
the existing one.
And changing the colors.
And changing the trim a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's,
Adding shutters.
And adding shutters.
yeah. So it's not,
They'll give it more detail.
it's not a whole lot of change per se. It's mostly
Well,
color.
I think it'll be
palette,
pretty
yeah.
significant when it's done.
I hope so.
When you start adding, when you start adding porticos, a different color roof, shutters.
Yeah. If I may, one of the, I mean, again, this being a hodgepodge, in some ways it doesn't really match. Whoever did it in years past just didn't really know what they were doing, I guess. If I recall, the posts in front, aren't those just steel columns?
The ballards?
The porch posts. And
There's a,
small-
there
there's
is a
small shed.
steel vestibule on the front.
Right.
This,
Yeah, but
it's completely
Oh, okay.
enclosed.
Oh, it's
not-
enclosed. That's,
no.
okay, I remember that, okay. And when you're not planning on doing anything with that?
No.
Just leave that as is, okay. All right. It's just, because this house, I mean, obviously you can have this style roof on many buildings. I mean, throughout New England, that, gambrel roof, I believe,
Yeah.
is, used in many houses and very, very elegant buildings with fine Doric columns or even Corinthian columns.
So is this going to stay the
But with the
same
T111
color as the roof? Or is it
siding,
going to become, I don't know.
which
I think I'll ask.
I don't know, I would almost question replacing the current Doric columns with like some rustic rough sawn posts or something, wooden posts, as opposed to
To be more in line with the fact that it's a barn.
more that it's a barn, because this one actually looks like a barn. This does not look like a grand home from the 1890s. This is more of a barn-looking structure.
Well, no,
Well,
it's
the
rental
top
units up
stories
above.
are, there's 4 rental units in the top story.
Are you recommending replacing all the posts to match, or now
Or
we
the
have
No, I was
one
gonna say
on the
that-
front
that-
and one on the back?
No,
and
I
something on
see
the
what she's
side?
doing. She has posts. I mean, actually, she only has 2 posts on 2 columns on the entire building. So she just wants to take those and carry them
Replicate
through,
them.
which is
Yeah.
not a
Which will be on the back.
bad
Yeah.
thing to do.
It'll be on the back,
Yeah.
not really visible
Will
from the
there-
street.
Be any new lighting or anything on the building, or?
When we devised the building, when the post office left, we had to put the code lighting on the outside.
Okay,
So that lighting is still there, and it
okay,
meets
and it
code.
will stay, okay.
And I just have another curious question. You know, what shelters the staircases on the
Yes.
outside, is that going to be the color of the roof line or the color of the building?
It can be the color of the building.
Oh, good, okay, thanks. Just hoping.
And I guess it's not in the plans to, or the possibilities to rectify that thing on, that.
Well, it's there to shelter the
I
walkway.
know, it's a 1970s
Well,
thing they did.
but if you lived upstairs, you'd be grateful for it.
As far as the shelter for the, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta be honest, the building's unique to the town.
It is.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. You say the bar, people usually know exactly.
They do, yeah.
That's right. Now the pipe rails, you're just going to replace them with the existing style that's already there, right? Or what's the?
What's there now, you're talking about on the loading dock?
Yes.
What's there on the loading dock right now are wooden, they don't meet code, they're nothing, a tenant put them up.
Right.
So we're going to come in and put up the metal rails that match what's across the front of the building.
And that's where you're building the portico over.
That's where the shed roof is going. But they don't meet code right now, they've got to come down.
Yeah. And they're currently painted black?
No, they're not painted anything.
Yeah. They're galvanized. That's it.
The natural look.
What are you talking?
Where is the front?
That,
Oh, yeah.
they're gonna replace the railings in the back with the same.
Chairman, on page 14, did you notice the three fixtures on the?
That's
So
why
there's
I
three of the,
asked.
do you know what those are?
What are those? What are they?
That's a log,
Matching
Bat
front
houses?
Yes.
Exactly.
rail.
Never a single one moved in.
They stayed in the roof,
They
right?
did. They stayed in
up
the
in the
attic. Or they've gotten behind that T-111 now. That's why that's all got to come off. So I'll probably relocate those to the back of the property.
The bat houses?
Yeah, put them up on posts, get them away from the property.
You didn't think any of us were gonna get it, did you?
I always thought they were can lighting, some sort of architectural lighting.
That's what my husband thought they were too.
When I brought that up, she said, do you know how much that?
Knowing the history of that building, it was an educated guess.
Probably in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And the,
I think it's,
the masonry concrete dock, you said you were going to paint that
We're going
too?
to parge it, which means putting a layer of concrete across it. It's kind of, looks like
Like a
it's
stucco?
like a stucco and
Yeah.
everything, because it's deteriorated so much.
Okay, and you're just going to paint that the same color as the siding of the house? Okay.
Well, I will say that it's, because it's cinder block, right?
Yes.
When you parge that, it probably will continue to settle. I mean, it's and you'll get the cracks back.
It'll make it look better for a little while.
It will.
it really is the same darn
I mean,
building in a
again,
lot of ways.
I think it's, what you're doing is great. I mean, you're upgrading what you have, and that's, we should be happy, and we are.
Yeah.
Although,
Nice.
since you're doing this in the first place, I mean, at
She said
all,
shutters.
I would just put on the table that the T111 sighting is.
Well, let me
not-
point something out to you. This is a 1 1/4 acre lot. This building is not the highest and best use for that lot. So it is likely that, and I don't know when this will happen, someone will want to come in there and redevelop that, and they're going to take that building down, probably. So that's why I'm reluctant, because we talked about a lot of things. We talked about putting brick veneer on it and things like that. But it's, the difference in money is, just takes your breath away. And
Cost prohibitive.
I can't see it. If this was like the old bank building, which fills up its lot entirely, it's never going to be redeveloped, then that's where we put our money. But not on something that, in all probability, is going to be redeveloped for a larger structure.
Very good.
Makes sense, makes sense.
But we don't actually have like the exact paint colors though.
They're right.
Yeah, right here.
That's all of them, right there in that whole packet though.
No.
The trim,
The arrow, yeah.
the trim is
Yeah,
that,
I think this
just
whole,
making sure.
these two, right?
Okay.
You can
Yeah,
confirm,
you can all kinds of fancy
you
stuff.
can
on that thing.
confirm with her before you.
You know, this
It's these two
this
colors.
tan looks a little dark to me.
This one?
So I was thinking that we would go over and get an actual, have them come out and actually look at this building that I admire so much, and have them do a reading on that paint.
Okay.
And just have them replicate it, because
Actually
that's what
match
they
it,
do
okay.
these days.
They don't make that paint anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you do is you have it come out and they do a, I don't know, they got this little thing they
They-
put up
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And so we can,
So it'll be slightly lighter than that then?
Yeah.
So then that takes away your concern about the roof and the
roof
color.
being dark, or not dark enough.
The buildings, so we just need to put that when we, pending the exact color of,
Right. I think there's a lot of little detailed write-ups we got to do with this. This might take a little bit of time.
That's what I'm wondering, particularly when we make the motion, how much, because there's a lot of detail missing in the application.
Yeah, that needs to
Well-
be added. That's why I was trying to write on the application
right,
itself
but
as we were
she's here,
doing
so we
this.
need to make that happen.
Yeah.
So do we want to, because I think she's got all the stuff listed. I don't think there's anything different. But just the detail, do we want to get through each one of these and just modify it? If we to make the motion?
Yeah,
Be cleaner.
Need a separate sheet to write on?
yeah, it'd probably be best if we could bulletize all the details. Because, you know, it just, where's it at? Like, install shed roof, and you got the drawing, but there's no details on the type of columns and stuff like that. So we need to put that kind of stuff into,
To match existing columns.
yeah.
I mean, we could just do that. That would be enough.
I think we need to say that it's replacing one that had
Had
been there,
been-
otherwise it would be a whole new structure.
Yep.
That's a
Yep.
mess.
Yeah.
Yes, let's just go through it one at a time.
And then the removal of the bat houses. and- Yeah. are you looking
Removal or
for?
moving?
She's removing them from the building, but moving them to another, to another
Oh, okay.
place on the property. Relocation. But from the building, I think is what we need to be concerned with, is that they're going to be removed completely off the building. Weren't you going to move them just
29 conditions.
No, it's the back of the property.
property, she said? Okay.
I didn't mean to suggest that that was an element you needed to review. I was just simply thinking like.
We're just going to have everything that we need to
It's
add.
practical, and it's kind of like a remediation for a pest infestation, so I don't want to restrict where she puts it.
No, I'm not restricting where she puts it.
They're gonna come over here.
When I reseated my shutters, I got rid of my bat home, because there were 7 bats behind one of my shutters. I was like, oof.
We have snakes in our court, so you can come to my court.
I've had one of
I
those.
didn't mind
They're
them. I
actually,
thought they were
they're
neat.
beneficial things.
Yeah, eating all the
can't touch 'em.
mosquitoes.
You
and
just don't
stuff.
want to roll over them in your bag.
so
And since there's residents.
Okay.
You can't touch them.
Okay,
Can't
hey,
touch them.
guys, can we, I think we've hashed this out, let's go ahead and just go through it
good.
and list them all. All right, so replace the roof, new shingles with,
Replace
what's the specific shingle word?
roof with aged wood is the color. Tamco, Heritage,
Classic heritage.
Classic, Heritage, Wooden Premium, Heritage Premium. Shingles. Aged wood. Color. Okay.
T111 siding, however you want to say it, with new T111, or it's not a change in the siding per se.
Just replacement. Right, for that,
Just
she wouldn't have
Yeah.
It's more just doing a specified color that
Color.
Colors.
replacement, okay.
So pending
Color match of,
color match of this this
what's that address, do we know?
does not have it.
Let's see in the picture.
Or you could even say Fashion Forward Salon. So that we don't hold her up with,
Is it salon, is it the salon or is it the resident?
that's the resident above it. Oh, is it the residence above Fashion Forward Salon? Really?
No, it's 15111 Washington Street, Winterham 1.
You think about the exterior trim,
She's going to widen it and add shutters.
the shutters are listed later on in our application.
Okay.
Okay, and what would the description of that trim be? It's just plank, right?
Yes.
Asking the architect.
Which one?
She's
Around the window trim, that,
widening the trimmer a little bit.
yeah, it's just called plank, right?
Look at the windows
Plank
on the
trim,
bottom floor. They've got a nice wide trim around them.
Matching
The
the
ones on
bottom.
the top,
Yeah.
Okay.
nothing.
Around second story. Windows to match first story. Okay.
Sockets and porticos next. I don't think there's,
And that's just a direct replacement,
yeah.
so I think that's okay.
Okay. Railing on the loading dock, so that's gonna come down, you're gonna.
It's going to be replaced
Yeah,
with what's
just
on the
from-
front,
Railing,
Yeah.
replaced with same
Dock.
material on the front.
dock. Replace
It's a metal.
with front style railing.
Yeah, because it says composite rails in the application.
But you're replacing it actually with metal rails?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Composites, board screening.
5 foot high?
Yes.
And that's gonna be white?
Same
No,
color
I
as the,
don't want it to be white.
She wants to match the trim
Yeah,
Okay.
or the building
right.
Match the T-111.
or the trim. But it'll be an existing color.
No, this is the board fence around the windows and stuff.
So it'll enclose all of them,
submitted
right?
picture.
Isn't there some still showing?
There's one I don't think we're gonna be, that it's gonna make work to try to close, but the big one where that has this.
Okay.
The big electric meters.
Okay.
in the bank.
Okay.
Same color as house 7. Okay,
The next one is quarters the size of the concrete dock. I don't think that's,
nothing required there.
yeah. I didn't want to say the shed roof, because that's replacing previous shed roof.
Yeah. Previously
So this is for the asphalt scheme.
Yes, architectural.
existing. Bid roof.
And you intend to match the shutters
Wood columns with
with the
matching,
building? Yeah.
columns matching portico columns.
Columns,
Say that.
matching portico. Columns. And shingles matching roof.
Shingles are,
Matching.
I missed, I think they were talking about it, but the metal railing out front
Placement.
remains. Is it painted
Roofing.
No.
I haven't decided that yet. I think we may keep it black, simply, and I'll need to talk
They're
to
going to be
the
matching.
building inspector about that, because
They're going to be matching.
there's two things that concern me. One is I don't want it to disappear, because then people will not see it. And there may be a reason why you must always see those painted black. I'm not sure why. Maybe the material that it's made out of. So I'm not certain yet.
So the railing in the rear, with the new trim from the replacement porch, is going to be the same metal railing.
Yes.
And it will be the same color.
Yes, whatever it ends up being.
Okay, so just, this is the rear of your building, and it's not that visible from Main Road. Presumably black metal rail with columns, white columns or white.
They're going to be the color of the trim. It's a light.
It's a lighter off-white.
Do you get any other things in there? Okay.
Where are you at
People
now?
grab that railing with their hands, and I'm concerned that if it's a real light color, it's going to look pretty bad.
All right, so
Well, I'm sure it will collect dirt and,
Okay.
I think just the concern is looking at the four whitish columns.
It's just utilitarian.
Oh, I wanted to
It's a
put
loading
color
dock.
palette.
it's a loading dock. She needs to have them. Otherwise, it's a safety issue, trust me. That's off the ground.
Palette, my spelling's terrible. Color palette matching.
So where are you at there, Ken? Where are you at?
511.
Did you surpass the shutters?
So what he'll do is just read all of this, and then I'll just do some of it.
Okay.
Making
What
sure
we
have
did
it
is,
all.
we expanded on your description so that it could lock in on everything that we discussed. Here's the conditions that we put on it. Replace the roof with Camco Classic Heritage Premium Shingles, Age Wood color. The T111 siding replacement, pending color match of the color palette that you described from second story of the Fashion Forwards line, 15111 Washington Street. Trim around second story windows to match first story. That kind of locks in on the trimming that you discussed. Railing on loading dock replaced with front style railing. Composite board screening matching style of submitted picture. That was the picture you submitted. Painted same color as house siding. Replacing previously existing shed roof with columns matching portico columns and shingles matching replacement roofing. The 13 shutters, window shutters, put that in, matching shutter style from 15111 Washington Street. I'm assuming that's what you wanted, right? And color palette matching 15111 Washington Street as well. I think that's it.
We're also doing the fascia and the soffits with the roof.
Yeah, okay, we'll put that in. Fascia and soffits. You have that in the detail, but what I'm going to put in here is that it matches the color palette styles that's been chosen.
Okay, does anybody have anything else? I'll make a motion to approve ZP 2015-029 at 6601 Jefferson Street with the criteria just specified by our chairman.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. Any more discussions? We get everything cleared? Okay, we'll put it up for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstains? Okay.
Thank
You
very
for
much.
coming. See, this made it a
Thank
lot
you for
easier on us
coming.
because we had you here.
Can't wait to see it.
One,
That's the hard part.
before you go, it's totally different, but you presented the, I guess, the development you planned on doing across from Cat Harpin. Is that still on its way, or do you know? Is it still following the same concept?
There's a whole lot more activity since the interchange is getting finished. So there's a lot more interest.
Okay. Is the design the same, though, or is it changing?
The one on the south side of John Marshall is the same.
Okay, yeah, that's just an inquiry.
Okay.
I'm interested. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
Bye-bye.
coming.
Next up, Chick-fil-A.
Okay,
Making me
next
hungry.
up, Chick-fil-A. Give us your best. I haven't had a chance to,
I can't. Is it working? I guess it's working.
yes, I hear you.
My name's Matt Knoll with Edwards and Hotchkiss Architects from Nashville, Tennessee.
My name is Ahmad Sheikh with Bull Engineering from the Sterling office.
And we're here representing Chick-fil-A again, about a year and 2 months later. The new proposed restaurant at 15250 Washington Street. just to give you an idea where we're at, we spent, I guess, the time between now and, I guess, April of last year, just reworking the site. Chick-fil-A wasn't 100% with, I think, the layout, so in order to enhance it, they went back and had to buy more property at the Quarles Haymarket Center. And in doing so, virtually what we see here is a mirroring of the building that you approved last year. I guess the only difference is we removed a building sign on the drive-through in order to get, I think, a monument sign up front. Besides that, that's basically the only difference with the building.
So which pad are we? Next
Closest
to the right of
center
Fauquier
the-
Bank.
Yes.
Okay.
Wall,
When you're facing from the road.
Walgreens.
CVS.
I'm sorry, CVS.
That's okay.
CVS, the bank, and then Chick-fil-A's right there. Recall the last plan, we had drive-through circulation that went all the way around the building. I think the issue was the conflict of pedestrians parking and having to cross the drive-through aisle. So in order to at least hide the drive-through stations even farther back and create a pattern that moves all the way back here so that you're not crossing.
That works a little better. Very nice.
Did that, if there's no more stacking issues, that would go into Washington Street as well, so anything.
So many times people can't even use the parking
Exactly.
because the drive-through blocks it.
Right. Just made a lot more sense.
Yep, no, I like that.
No, it's more asphalt, I think, dedicated to the drive-through and a better use of the asphalt. I don't think that there's more asphalt overall per se that.
It wound up taking about 3,000 to 4,000 square feet from the third pad site back. In other words, if you remember the site out there today, this is you take this away, this is all pad site.
Right, right.
And then this is a separate grassy plot where that fake rock is.
Yeah.
So, the big fake boulder that Lowry thought was so cool. So what they did was, as you mentioned, before you had the drive-through traffic running in conflict with the traffic coming out, the VDOT project is actually going to be pulling a lot of this back. We're going to lose some of our street trees and some other things, so that's why you don't see as much head-in parking here. So anyway, this is some kind of basic configuration. So what this does is allow a lot of this parking associated, a lot of this parking and drive-through with Chick-fil-A not to conflict with traffic that comes out here. Once this median is closed, if you want to go east on Washington, you're now going to have to use this entrance. So again, this configuration reduces the number of conflicts between these folks and this folks. The only disadvantage is we're losing square footage from the rear building. So it's going to be a 10-unit inline retailer on the backside.
So where is the dumpster enclosure on that? Back over there? Okay.
Yeah, it's the ones that are here.
Correct.
Okay. Let's get my bearings.
They put signage for flow of traffic? Did they what? And they have like flow of traffic, like, I'm sure they did. Sure they did.
Well, there is part of this kind of process of getting this done first. There's also a site plan amendment being co-processed with this that will change the leftover space. So you're probably just going to have a pad site for one tenant. You know if you guys know that?
Not yet, no.
I think it was in the building was 10,000 square feet.
About half it.
What's that in the very far back? This thing right there. This? Yeah. This is existing dump dumpster enclosure.
So this is the stormwater pond. At one point, Quarles was going to try to maybe do some fueling station back here. But I think that project's been suspended.
Now, if I remember, John, I think you were part of the initial meeting, but you didn't get to, you weren't here for the approval of the last one. So here's your chance to take care of any regrets you had.
That's not fair.
Actually, the only thing, I thought of this shortly after you all left a year ago or something, is that we had commented on the, I guess the mullions in the windows or something of that nature. But, and you picked it up, and it looks great. I was wondering.
Is it the soldier course?
Enclosed, the front windows in the top area, would it not be more in keeping with the other windows, which are in basically planes, to remove that lower, this?
No.
Remove what?
That way you have rectangle with a square. Here you have rectangle with a, well, it's not square, but,
Kind of a transom.
Is that the play area?
That's the play area.
Right, right.
I'm not concerned about that.
I'm not concerned about that either.
Well, yeah, I was going to say,
I think I would have it.
Is that the play area, though?
Yes.
Is that
Yes.
where
I was
the,
gonna
are
say
those windows like equipped so that if anything hits it, it's that, are those,
Like a car driving through it?
I think,
well,
yeah, they're,
you know,
through
isn't, by
they're
removing
impacted.
that, wouldn't that be more,
Less structurally
yeah,
sound.
Kind of like a chair rail or something, but it's, I mean, all of it's impact-resistant glass. And going back, and there are a couple ways to answer that question. Yeah, you could line it up that way with the rest of the windows. Number two, that's just the way they do all their buildings. I think primarily, my understanding is that they're dividing it into three separate vertical spaces and dividing it may not be completely representative, but you're dividing three equal panes there, three equal panes there. Just so you see that even square, 9 square, almost rectangular. It's right.
Color red are we talking? Are we talking pineapple red? Are we talking sheets red on the umbrellas?
I was just thinking that again, with the
Do we need to ask them to turn on the red on the
windows to the
umbrellas?
side, which are more
Have you seen the color?
Right.
it's what you have in, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess one way of seeing it too is the orientation of those windows describes the dining space inside, whereas the playground is separate enough to where you want to delineate that space in a separate manner than the other storefront. Right. If the slide doesn't already have that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's.
So do we have the red of the umbrellas in here?
I think because it's kind of the centerpiece at the front of the building. You wanted something.
Yep.
You wanted something that's more symmetrical in design of those mullions.
So what, since I was not on the board last time when they came through, what were you asked to do with the building? What changes have been made?
So the summary sheets back in 22.
You'll have to.
Yeah.
Just now.
We go to,
Tops of the
there's kind of
towers.
a rendering.
And these were basically all the comments that
Fieldstone
you
was
had for
modified
us.
to Mount Vernon.
Yeah. So I hold on to these for about 5 years. So. But same board I presented last week, or last year, I should say. And I
So it
think
actually was going to choke down.
Yes.
Yeah, they put it all in back.
The back where they,
You mean like the CVS and?
the back of there was.
You guys love matchy-matchy, don't you?
Look like,
Everybody loves
That
matchy-matchy.
too,
yeah, laying the choke down in the back. Or
Okay.
So you know that some elements are taken from Foster's building, not Foster's building, the Blue building, right?
was that the Cupcake Heaven building?
Or the Cupcake Heaven building?
I think that was one of
So
them.
we borrowed several architectural styles, not just from CVS, it's not Cupcake.
I think that's the route.
Giving you a hard time, Marshawn.
Yeah, I think that's the route we wanted to match, as opposed to, I think, the grocery store across the street, which is a much more literal representation, translation of colonial style.
Yeah,
Okay, one of my
exactly.
questions is like the red on the building, the umbrellas and the, I mean, how red are we? Is it a tomatoey orange? Is it a sheets red? Is it, I mean, we've gotten sheets to tone theirs down, we've gotten CVS to tone theirs down. Are we talking along those same lines? I didn't see a color.
It's, I wore my Chick-fil-A tie. I could show you
I wish you
exactly
had.
what it was, but it's.
Is it pretty true to the
pretty
picture?
evident. Yeah, pretty much. A little bit of transparency to it.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, I noticed
behind
that.
it, but it's
If you go out
Chick-fil-A
to,
red.
if you go out to the Gainesville Chick-fil-A, that's the
I'd have to go
signature
look
red.
again.
You'll have to
Pretty
look
close
at
to that
that.
binder.
There's not outdoor seating at the other Chick-fil-A though, is there?
No.
So,
I think,
Is there?
I think there is.
At the
I
one
think
in
there's like
Gainesville?
three.
But it's right, between the door and the drive-through, they have a couple chairs shoved
Yeah.
right in there.
There's
Wow.
like three.
Bolted to
I
the
was about
door.
to say, I have never seen.
I've never
anything
noticed that.
like
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because you're being surrounded by cars. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
it depends on the site. It really depends on how the site's laid out.
Branding red that Chick-fil-A uses is not as bright as the.
That's what I'm asking.
It's not as bright as the.
Okay. Because if we're going to be fair across the board, then we need to be fair across the board.
No, those were like tomato.
Oh, wait, yeah.
Sheets came back with the green.
Well, yes, but they're not lime green. They're darker green now.
Okay.
So that, like Matt described, the only thing that's really changed was just building orientation.
Correct, it's just mirrored.
Oh, I'm
And
fine.
then how about signage
That's gonna be.
later? A separate package?
Should
Okay.
conceptually, their applications have to amend the zoning ordinance to accommodate some of that sign.
Gotcha.
Come back to you separately.
Okay.
Do you guys think that you'll put arrows in the parking lot for the drive-through and stuff like that? Like,
Yep.
yeah.
All for Chick-fil-A standard.
Not that people will follow them, but just saying.
No, I like that concept so much better.
Yeah, I like it.
And
So
you'll
it'll
have,
be done next month, right?
you'll have 2-lane entries for the drive-through?
We
There's
actually had health
gonna
approval,
be,
building
yeah, 2
approval.
lanes for the drive.
We're ready to construct, but they just weren't completely satisfied with the site, so they went back, and
All right.
now I get to do another building again.
You see, that looks
And are there-
red when you show it this way.
Are there 2 drive-through speaker systems?
Yep,
or
there's
is
2
there
drive-through
one?
speaker systems.
On opposite sides?
Yes.
And then it funnels into
And then it
one
funnels
pickup,
into one.
yeah. Like the one out in Loudon,
Yeah.
out in Leesburg. By the.
Yes.
And they'll
Yes.
have like,
Yep.
they'll have directionals for people to go
That's part of
through.
the site plan.
Okay.
Last sentence is, like you see here,
Uh-huh.
directional arrows here.
Yeah.
And then CVS, they're hard to see here, but they have like a pharmacy.
Yeah, they have the pharmacy sign and all that going through.
So they'll have some directional
Like
signage.
you see here through the
Yeah.
bank as well.
And is there's an exterior entry and exit
They
off the
don't have
back
any pictures
there also,
in
or
the
no?
new application, and the old one.
No, I mean at the back of the property.
She's wondering if, back there by the dumpster, if you can go
If you can
through
come in and
between
out.
those bushes.
Between those 2 bushes there.
Yes.
There is? Okay.
Yeah, this is flush with the ground.
Okay.
They haven't had a concrete pad because when the trucks pull up,
Uh-huh.
with a lot of weight of the trucks, it'll mess up the asphalt. So they typically put a concrete pad underneath that holds the weight of the dumpster. So that'll be flush.
Oh, okay.
And then this will be,
They kind of show
there's the
up
grocery
here.
store that's trying to come in here.
Mhm.
So they'll have interparcel access here.
Because we need an
Okay.
grocery store.
Okay.
Because Giant just bought out Food Line, and that one's gonna be vacant, why don't they just go there?
And then in this one, they kind of showed it.
Oh, yeah, the split.
Like we need another grocery
Yeah.
store. No retail. Okay. Talk to the town council about needing retail. Go ahead and
Now,
pass
you
that along.
don't have any type of representation in the new packet about how your drive-through kiosks are. If you want to come on up here, I'll show you what you had in the first one. I'm assuming that it's going to still represent, this is still representative of the type of drive-through.
Yeah, but it's just in the back.
Okay.
Yep.
Should be it.
That's-
the
that's
drive-through
gonna be
structures
double-
you
Yeah,
use.
double ordering station, same exact thing, funnel through it. The other day.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to confirm that.
Please pull in behind the white pickup.
I'm not sure what that is, though. P2.
Mr. Chairman, I would recommend putting that as part of your
What the heck is that?
that the
2015.
either as approved before or with the signage.
I should know that.
It's going to be like this, or it's going to be one system?
I mean, if they're showing that, then that's what they're intending.
You watch how many,
This is the one.
Oh, I don't know, then you'd have to
Like one
ask.
of life's questions, which line do you need?
It's up there, it's
Whether you're
showing
driving,
only
or
one.
whether you're driving at the airport.
like single.
The airport this morning, trying to get to the security line. which is
figure
fine.
out how many kids are in the car, that's how you do that.
Exactly.
To the question that you just asked, with the kiosks for the ordering, is it two separate systems, or is it one system working off of opposite sides?
It would be two separate.
Two separates, okay.
Yeah, just as depicted in the initial
In the
packet.
from
that
last
they
year?
put the- Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, does anybody have any other questions? I guess we're good.
I make a motion.
Beforehand, I am putting pending comments about this, the kiosks, that they're not represented in the new packet. So I'm going to say, refer to the first packet, the prior packet, for representation for the, whatever they're called, the call
Ordering
boards, kiosks, whatever, yeah.
Do you want me to say that in the motion?
You can, I just wanted to let you know I was going to put this in the conditions.
Okay. I make a motion to approve ZP 2015-028, the Chick-fil-A Inc. at 15250 Washington Street, with the caveat that the ordering kiosks details are included from the previous packet.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. Last chance for any type of comments.
I might have one, hold on just a second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Sean. He never.
dumpster.
Epic fail.
I was looking for the dumpster and
Well, it's right there.
That-
Yeah, I need to,
I thought it was, I just looked at it.
did it?
Well, we got one in the, you might be confusing it with the initial, because the prior one was the second or third page from the end.
I amend my motion to include the dumpster pack from the original packet. Is that correct, Marchant?
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, motion first and seconded. Anything else? Okay, call for vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any nays, abstains? Okay. We
Working
got a
ground
good
tomorrow.
go-ahead.
See you next year.
Yeah, get it in
Don't
place.
say that! Are you going back to Nashville?
Tomorrow, afternoon.
So, is this the brick?
Oh, yeah.
That was that brick up there, the green brick?
Yeah. As best as can be represented from all these things.
Yes.
And so, the last question, the ones that my kids are asking me, like, on a monthly basis, when is this going to start happening?
They can, well,
You and all the residents
That's
of
above
the
his
town.
pay grade, just say that.
I'm usually the last one to know, and that's,
Won't hold you to it, but I mean, this is, everything's moving forward now, right?
Yeah. I think pretty full bore. I think we have the design into the town to be getting back. I'm trying to refresh the schedule in my head, but
At the
I don't
moment,
wanna lie to you.
right now, we're reviewing their resubmission of this new design. So I think we have another couple of days to finish that review and then move forward. So probably as early as this, all the approvals could probably get done as early fall. So.
Fall.
We wanted Chick-fil-A by Christmas, but
We don't want much, do we?
That's right, we want the peppermint shakes, right?
Oh, those are good.
thank you, guys. though.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
guys.
We've got great pizza, Italian food. Stay in town, right?
No retail.
Okay.
Don't get me started.
Now I gotta figure out where my,
I'm on a roll.
Oh, I forgot to,
No retail, though.
I forgot to
Okay,
put
time
in
to move on to Certificate of Appropriateness C, and that's the demolition of 14881 Washington Street. Now, I guess, Marchant, you had a chance to talk to Ms.
I have
Pardo?
not, and I got to be honest with you, between my schedule and her schedule, we have not made contact. And Denise did include my response to her that I've asked her to respond to, which laid out the recommendations that you had prescribed last month. So I was just going to ask that you defer again so that she and I can finish our conversation before we make a decision. So you do have the 60-day timeline with which to make your decision, so.
So,
So next,
defer it.
Days of that?
What's that?
We're through 30.
You're in the 30 days, yeah. So I think she may still be out of the country, so.
so I would recommend that we defer this. Do I have any motions?
I'll make a motion to defer zoning permit 20, what?
Hold on, before you defer, let's make sure that when the 60 days expire, because we don't want to go over that. Do we know specifically what day that is and when our next meeting falls around that day?
We fall on 19th.
Because if we got 60 days, we want to make sure that our next meeting is not a day 61.
August 19th?
Is that our 60
Well,
days? So we did this in June 17th, so we would be over 60 days.
We deferred this on, I don't have a date on my signature, so I can't even tell you.
It's June 17th
June
was the last
17th was
ARB
the
meeting.
meeting.
So that means we got to get it done by August.
17th?
17th would be 60 days.
Well,
No.
there's 31 days in July, so 16th,
16th.
which is a Sunday.
How do we put this in the codes? Was it business days or calendar days?
I think it's typically 60 days from when it shows up on your agenda,
Yeah, it's calendar days.
so.
So that's the
If you,
same.
I mean, I can come back and figure it out for you. I think if you're not comfortable making a decision tonight, that's fine. I can brief the chairman. If we have to change the meeting date, we can do that as well, if we need to.
I mean, there was a holiday in there too, July 4th, so.
So,
That's still a calendar day.
what's that?
That's still a calendar day. Therefore,
We can figure that out and follow up with you.
Okay. You guys going to be taking vacation in August, anybody? So that might interfere with.
Well,
you,
it's subject to the applicant's extension.
Right.
So I think if we go back and, she responds, it's within that time, I can just, would you agree to extend it to
The 17th.
the next meeting? So I don't think it's an issue, but I don't see her objecting to it, so.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that up, though, Mr. Wright.
I'm just trying to be accurate. So the motion is to,
I didn't make a motion because you stopped me.
you were kind of in the middle, yeah.
I make a motion to ask the applicant, is that what you have to do, Marchand?
I would just say that you would defer the item to the August meeting pending an extension
Okay.
from the
I make a
applicant.
motion to defer the application 2015-0526 to the August meeting pending approval of extension from the applicant.
Second.
Yeah, I got a motion and a second. Any comments? Okay, let's vote on it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I guess a point of information, Denise, how do you want to record this on this packet? Do you have a second page to continue? Okay, so I'll do that later then with you. Okay, now we'll go to next agenda item, Town Council update.
Well, I missed the last town council meeting. Just trying to get caught up last night, or Monday night, I guess. I don't think there was nothing new at the council meeting, as far as I was informed. So, we're still dealing with the Harold property, waiting for everything to come forward. So, and I have requested that the council take a walk on the property before a decision made, so
Okay.
it might be good if we maybe put that in our recommendation as well. I think you did, perhaps.
I don't think we did, but we'll
When it
discuss
hurts.
that when that agenda comes up,
So-
when that item comes up.
And I think they, obviously haven't seen the demolition next door,
Oh, see,
So-
I'm not up to date on all that.
and then the council did approve an amendment to the master plan contract
Comprehensive,
to
yes.
hire architects. So they'll be putting the concept together and bringing it to you for
There'll be
review.
weekly meetings, was my understanding, on the process here within the town center.
I envy you.
So, well, there's not necessarily with me, there's weekly meetings with town manager, with architect, with the chief, different, who's going to be utilizing that space.
Okay.
So, and I'm sure some of us, the council will be involved in it, obviously, at some point, 2, 3, all. But my understanding is they're going to try to have a weekly, and it is gutted at this point. So, and monies have, been shifted to be able to handle all that were already planned to be there.
Okay.
So, did I miss anything else, Marchant?
No, ma'am.
I have a question. Have there been any plans or formats, because I'm new, so I don't know I know that they're going to be using that as the police department, is that correct?
That is the intent.
So do they have anything figured out as far as the structure, interior structure of the building?
That's what these meetings are going to be about that are
Okay.
coming up.
Both the interior layout and design and the exterior at some point.
Okay.
So what the attempt is to, when that's renovated over there, with the thought of what's going to be over here as well, so that we're not doing something twice or redoing anything, so.
Okay.
But they're trying to,
What's going to happen to,
that remains unknown at the moment.
why move? I mean, just curiosity,
Their
because that
recommendation.
building it's not ADA compliant, they've got all the requirements
It
for
was,
locking up
the
stuff.
concept was to go ahead and house all of the town municipal in this building, and to include possibly other government agencies within Prince William County, since there's nothing on this end of Prince William County, to reach out to them to see if they would like to have any satellite office space here, or,
As far as who, like sheriff's department or?
it could even be utilities or politicians that, need office space, or just whatever, because there is nothing on this end of Prince William County.
Oh, okay.
Rent from us.
So this would be then a government municipality building based,
Okay.
This one would be,
this one.
but what about,
They have not made a decision on that.
They still have a tenant, the police department.
And so until they move, they have not, there's all kinds of thoughts out there, but there's not been anything definitive.
wow, okay.
Any other questions? Sure, go ahead.
And who made that decision? Was that an ARB decision or town
It's a town
council?
council
Okay.
decision.
Okay.
Where the very thing used to be located.
I really don't see it.
Oh, there's space there. It's almost 2,000 square feet.
But it's not ADA compliant, you got the lockup issues, there's a bunch of issues.
Well,
A
there's,
lot of issues that you
there's
can't-
issues with the whole building.
I wouldn't call it a station.
Since we don't jail anybody to begin with, but that's
No,
the
but
whole,
you've got weapons, you've got evidence, you've got,
Correct.
I mean, that's one of the things we just wanted
Correct.
to work through the hard,
Correct.
however, one of them was locked and we couldn't get in.
and they had to redo things in that building to make it compliant with everything as well. So any building you have to make it compliant, but isn't that part of the renovation? So the hope is to eventually move them and let that be their final place, since they have been moved, I don't know how many times in the last few years.
That's right.
So trying to house them, making it, the government building, potentially, at some point, properties could be sold off around it if we didn't want to be involved with landlord, but there's been no decision made about anything. no concrete definitive plans, except that they chose to make this a municipal building.
Okay.
That's, well, right now, there's government contract workers up there, so. So, but, their leases will obviously be honored, and, I guess then just steps will be taken to see who, that's down the road. But yes, no one's going to be dislodged at this point. So. But certainly you can pass any, if you would like to pass anything forward to the council, I can do that. If you'd like to do it in writing, attend a meeting, absolutely you can. I kind of had to recuse myself. I've worked for the very thing for 8 years. So, so a lot of that decision-making was without my vote, so. Which it should have, I needed to recuse myself. So that's when I say they, that's why I'm not including myself necessarily in that voting body, so.
Okay. Any other questions?
But good questions.
We'll move on to Planning Commission update.
Not having been able to establish quorum yesterday, strangely, since the members said they would attend it and then suddenly didn't show up, even though we had people drive in from Merrill and other places for presentations. Town business did not occur as it should have. I have no update other than that.
The sign consultant has submitted their draft sign ordinance. We had expected to have a meeting with the Planning Commission on
Monday.
next Monday? No. The consultant was going to come in separately and meet with the town officials on the 28th, but we've had to reschedule that meeting.
Yeah.
And we'll find that date. There is some recent, you may have heard in the news, some recent case law or Supreme Court decisions regarding signs and content, which the town attorney is looking through that decision to see whether or not that impacts the town's ability to govern signage.
And I missed that completely, which is unusual. I pretty much follow them.
The name of the decision just escaped me. What's that?
Can you give me a brief rundown of what it was?
It had something to do with, I think the original premise was political signs, and what the content of political signs would say, which I knew we already did not regulate it other than to say it had to be on residential property or had to be on private property and within so many days. But it expanded beyond that to what does the content of the sign say, its size, its location, its message, its coloring.
And is this sign specifically municipal-owned signs, or is this signs of citizens and businesses?
I think it's private signs. So I'll send you the court case. But anyway, there was some nervousness on the part of
the lawyers.
Yeah, the lawyers is that the point that we regulate content of signs, that when we get ourselves, could we potentially opens ourselves up to
freedom of speech.
So yes.
Interesting.
So anyway, nonetheless, it's coming forward. We do want to. What's interesting is they broke it up into areas. We have a kind of a retail area, we have a core area, and we have a residential area. So it does a good job of trying to delineate or differentiate between our pedestrian downtown or vehicular other areas. So that will come to you as well with some guidance on what the court case has. So.
And when is that supposed to happen?
The commission's going to look at it first, and then it'll come to you.
So
So either
their
August or
next meeting-
September. Yeah, August, September.
Not this
it'll come to
one coming up, but the next.
you. Correct.
Okay.
The ice rink was approved by the council. I forgot to say that. So they'll be building the plans that you guys reviewed. Sheets should be coming in fairly quickly. They're anxious to move forward as well.
I thought they were waiting on the completion of the Diamond interchange or whatever it's
They
called.
decided that they weren't going to wait that out. They have enough information. They feel comfortable moving forward. Have any of you been to Stevens City recently? Okay. If you're on 81 and you get off at the Stevens City's exit where the Sheets is, it's almost, what they're doing there is almost the exact same concept here. They're building the new building behind the old white brick buildings. The next time you're through there, take a look and you'll see how it kind of plays itself out. So, unfortunately, the contract on the Payne Lane property across the street was not renewed, so that property is now up for sale again. We had talked several times. I think I talked to you individually and some as a group about maybe approaching that landowner on how to
Clean it
or
up.
redevelop the property. So I think that might be an opportunity to go ahead and do that with a fresh slate. So I know Denise has been trying to catch up with the owners of the firehouse, who own the firehouse and the bungalow. Sergio Zizios, they own the Blue Valley Winery that just opened. And from what we're hearing anecdotally, they're going to turn their focus back on those properties.
Once the winery opens.
So they have opened it up to use during Haymarket Day.
So you didn't get to meet again today?
We're going to have a face-to-face beginning of August.
So, I know later we're talking about Winterham, so we'll talk about that later then. But other than that, that's about all I have right now, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions for Planning Commission or anything on it? Okay. Then we'll move to new business. There aren't any agenda items for new business. Does anybody have any things on their plate that they would like to bring up? Okay. Old business. We'll start, I guess, with the task list. Of course, the task list, the only real active thing at this point is the signs. And I have a feeling, since it's a vacation time, that nothing got done.
Well, we need to have a meeting, I guess, to discuss what signage you came up with the information, so I kind of feel like now it needs to be a meeting amongst all of us as to decide how we want to proceed forward with it. I mean, we can look up other types of signage, we can look up, it's in the budget for this fiscal year to be able to use some of that for signage. So it's set aside. So now we just need to go ahead and go forward. Do we want a special meeting? We talked about that last time. Do we want to have just a special meeting, or do we want to actually discuss it at the ARB meeting? Do you want to make it a work session?
It's probably best to have it as a work session or some type of straw man meeting.
Do we want to set a date for that?
Yeah, we can set a date. I kind of passed the burden on to you, so if you want to coordinate something.
I actually asked for it.
Yeah, if you want to
we're all
coordinate
here.
something.
Do we want to set a date? That's my question. We're all here.
Well, I'm gone from Friday till the end of the
So it's
month.
vacation season, right, and then I'm
Vacation
gone again
season.
the second week of August. We want to push it to the fall when we know we're all here?
September, maybe, September?
After school starts and we know we're all pretty much in place.
School starts the
Haymarket
31st.
Day.
September 19th, Haymarket Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess we'll coordinate.
Well,
it
say
at
we meet
a
on the
date.
16th. We can certainly meet that first full week in September if we want. School will have been in session. When did they do the back-to-school nights and all that?
You're doing high school,
We're going back early this year, aren't we?
Yeah.
31st. We start 31st this year.
I'm trying to remember if they do them the next week
Back to school
or
in September. Back to school nights are
or in September, but I can't. They're usually within the first week or two. Haymarket Day's the 19th. Do we want to wait till after all that?
We
I
might
don't have any
to.
back-to-school nights, so whatever you guys
Oh,
want to do,
shush.
I'm good.
At least all mine are high school now. I'm not splitting between two schools.
But you're still splitting between two sets of teachers.
Yeah. Tag team with my wife.
You have to, yeah. So,
October.
is there a consensus on when? I know by the end of September, we should be fine that last week in September.
Yeah, so we'll try something then.
So, pick a date.
Our meeting will
There's
be
no
not till the 21st
PCs, there's no ARBs.
of October.
What was that?
I said the ARB meeting won't be till the 21st of October, so.
So do we want to,
Wanna
do
do
we
it
want
the
to
week
stick to a
before?
Wednesday night, or what?
Doesn't matter to me. About Wednesday, the 14th.
You're talking about October?
Yeah.
Do a work session, then discuss it at the ARB meeting? That works for me.
Yeah, what date did you say?
October 14th.
October? That's really pushing it back, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay.
It's either that or it's about the end of August. This one's,
Okay.
well, that or we make it part of the work session in August. We just make it part of the meeting.
Yeah,
But it would be at the end,
yeah, well,
and I'd hate to keep people extra. So we could close the meeting and then do it.
okay, so, yeah, let's look at next meeting time
You want to do that?
following it.
Well, it still needs to be advertised as a work session, if it's going to be separate.
True, but that gives us enough time.
When do you want to do that, October?
Well, no, that would be
August.
the August 19th meeting, because
Okay.
then we could do the ARB meeting, close it, and just do the work session. We wouldn't have to have anybody else here, would we?
It does make a difference.
We might need to. Do you still, would you rather do it all in one night, or?
It doesn't matter to me.
Depends on how big the agenda is, I guess,
You could always do a work session like 6 o'clock, 6 to 7, something like that.
before.
Yeah, let's start off with a before,
All
because I
right.
think truly we just need to determine what direction.
What
we want
direction
to
we're
go.
going to go in, and then we can
And
get
then we need to
task
do
it.
research
Yeah.
for with the signage and stuff.
Okay, so August 19th, we're going to start at 6 and work session from 6 to 7, right?
Yes, and then the ARB following.
Okay.
All right. I will put that priority.
Okay.
Need to get rid of my
Okay.
house guests.
Do we need to bring anything with us when we come? Or we'll
Well, I'll bring everything I have. I can start, I mean, what we were looking at was just the samples.
Yeah.
okay.
So they can come up with the design, just let me call and see if they can give me some prices, roughly. Or do you even have that information?
I'm sorry. what was
Do you
that?
have like, do you have information, just a rough estimate of what some of these signs would cost?
I thought some of your earlier analysis, you had already run some estimates on it.
I didn't
Yeah, but you
see.
did.
Yeah, I don't think we got any real costing on it. What I was going to do is, I guess, find out what concept we wanted,
And
give
then-
it to Bud, and then Bud said he would take care of the whole management of it, down to where all we had to do was submit the VDOT permits.
If you were to use a consultant to do that type of thing, if you're doing wayfinding, identifying all your town structures and buildings, the wayfinding plan itself, the concepts, not any construction, is probably 15 to 20,000. And then there's be a question of building those. Now, your friend Bud may be able to do it for less, but typically when you hire someone that puts together those wayfinding systems, so.
What do
Well,
we have in the
he's just
budget
a
for
Prince William
signage?
County
It's not that.
signage guy. I mean, he does it for
I
the
think it's like
county. so-
6,000, isn't it?
I mean, he's not even like a contractor. He just tells how much it would cost him to do it.
And that's a question of cost too. Do we want to do kind of a Taj, do we want to do a Cadillac plan, or do we want to do a utilitarian plan?
So that's,
Right, and that's
I
the-
guess,
the
the reason
direction
why
that
we
we
need to
need.
have the work session.
Well, I think what we
Yeah.
talked about before is basic elements. Do you want to do the 4 gateways? Do you want to do each of the town structures?
Right, and
you wanna
that's
do
what
those
my
types of
initial
things?
packet
Yep.
kind of identified.
Exactly. And then when you go from there, then just say, okay, then we'll come up with a branding or a concept, and you go from there. So that's probably what you want to have your meeting on.
Well, we certainly
Yeah.
don't have enough for,
Okay, well, we need to move on, because we definitely will be spending a little bit of time with the Harover property. So I got in here bylaws. I guess that really directs your way. I'm sure that's still
I
been
keep
tabled,
forgetting to look at this
right?
darn task list. So, yes, sir, we will continue to
I don't have a sign.
make headway on that.
Okay, so there's really nothing to bring up with the bylaws yet. They're still kind of on the
Yes, sir, I
back burner.
apologize.
Okay. We also have in here appointment for a vice chair. We do need to do something. I guess we can kind of come up with some type of informal way we want to do this, because since we don't really have a nice bylaw structure, that kind of gives us how we do it and how often we do it. Are we just going to informally nominate people tonight? We got the full staff here, so, who wants to volunteer and who wants to be voted on and all that stuff?
And before we do that, doesn't the town council vote one at a time? You don't do multiple, you vote once on each one? It's not like a,
Yeah, I think it's a
That
roll
is
call
how
vote.
the council does it, yes. How does PC do it?
it's never been contentious on the PC. We just do it. I mean, there's not a whole lot of people that want to
One
do it.
usually volunteers.
No, typically one is offered up.
I move that I nominate, or I
Yeah.
nominate such and such.
And there's under the breath swearing, and we vote, and we're done.
There's a routine of, the volunteers step forward and everybody steps back.
Which
except
that
for the
works.
one who was
And that
included
works
in
fine
the,
for this time until we get the bylaws in place. But I just, think that we should have that.
Yeah, well, if you remember at the last meeting, I also said, I've been in this for over 2 years now. I didn't know if you guys wanted me to keep it or, since I've kind of monopolized it. I'm assuming in the bylaws,
good.
when we finally do get something, we'll probably have some type of structure that says this will be a yearly voted on term.
Right.
Yeah, that's what
But,
the PC does.
until then, we don't have,
Is it yearly voted on, or is it with the term of the person who's,
Yeah.
their term with the PC?
I
know
would
what I'm
assume
saying?
that if their term expired prior, no, because all the terms, I think, expire in the same month, I believe. I'd have to think back.
Everybody's term?
They expire in different years.
Yeah.
They all expire in different years.
So
but
I would
think they all
assume that the
expire-
chairman would be the chairman until their term with the PC
It's every year.
expires. Oh,
It's
okay.
every year.
Well, we've never done that. I don't know if you've done that while I've been gone, but while I was here.
We didn't do it when I
yeah,
was
we never
on
really
before.
voted. Somebody just volunteered and they were it.
Tag.
You're it.
So, yeah, like I said, I'm kind of hesitant. I guess we can do something informal now.
Well-
Yes, Marchand.
The term of office of the member shall be for 3 years, except that the term of the council member and planning commissioner shall correspond to their tenure of office. Any appointed member of the board may be removed from the office by council, such and such and such and such. Appointments to fill vacancies shall only be for the unexpired portion of the term. The Board of Architectural Review shall elect its chairman and vice chairman from its membership, and the town clerk shall be its secretary.
That would be you.
You're stuck with us.
So, other than that,
There's no procedure.
yeah, I guess we have just by practice reappointed the chairman and vice chairman every year. So,
Because it doesn't specifically say.
correct.
Yeah.
So I nominate Candace to the chairman.
I second.
Any discussion?
Are you swearing under your breath?
All in favor?
Any other nominations? Okay, well, that's fine. I mean, I'll keep it. I just wanted to put the
Yeah,
offer out there.
absolutely. Absolutely appreciate that you did that, but
But now, I guess, to really hit the point, we do need a vice chair because I'm typically old reliable when it comes to showing up at the meetings. But there's, like the last time, I had planned on going to the meeting. I just didn't realize that the drugs I was taking for my surgery
that could have been a good meeting, Ken.
were not, I thought that it wouldn't happen until the next morning, but it was whenever it will happen, that's when it will happen.
TMI.
So, I said, yeah, I called Denise. I think it would be best if I don't show up today.
Certainly had a sense of urgency on that.
So, yeah. Okay.
Are you going to
So-
hit me if I say something? I'm going to nominate Susan Edwards for vice chair.
I second.
She's not swearing. All those in favor?
Well, do you-
That's your job.
Because I am older. I think that's the first meeting I missed since I've been here. I think it was.
Is everyone,
We're good? Okay. All in favor of having Susan?
Aye.
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 No roll call required since we're informal. Until our bylaws get put in place, and then we'll have better ruling.
Okay.
Okay. Then we'll move on to the ARB recommendation of the Harover Master Plan. Now, I want to first say thank you, Marchant, for the effort that you put into this, because you gave the true feeling that's really needed here to throw us forward with the recommendation that I kind of plotted up by prioritizing each step of what can happen on, just to try and influence if the town council did need to vote other than the first prioritized decision that we did have others so that their hands weren't tied, but the order was mainly to keep the houses. I'm sure that is not fully appreciated on the board, but have you all had a chance to read this? And are there any comments you want to make to adjust this before it gets presented to the town council?
I just had that one thing where you had put in a personal that you had,
My company had a picnic at Bull Run. Yeah, I was going to bring it up too.
just to turn that into a, realizing that other,
This is on page 4, third bullet from the bottom.
Okay. To pretty much take the comment that they had to pay to get into it, because in the long run, you may not need to pay to get into the park, but you will have to buy the facility for use, right?
Well,
Yeah.
So-
well, the deal was that the company had paid for the pavilion at Bull Run and even reimbursed the employees to get in, but apparently they didn't make that known well enough. Employees, a lot of the employees thought they had to pay to actually get into the park, and that kept a lot of people away, which was, never mind. But that was, we haven't had a picnic since, so.
Yep.
So, one of those things, but, yeah, maybe just strike out everything after company picnics. Company picnic kind of, I guess, say it all. I guess.
Yeah. Okay, any other comments? Any more recommendations to add to this or anything? You guys can look it over if you haven't had a chance. In the meantime, Denise, how did we want to present this to council? Did we want to just give this as a bullet to put in Marchant's gun, or did we want to formally have you address it to the council and say, this is the ARB's recommendation?
I think it's added to the agenda.
Yes, what I was doing was going to I went to the commission, got their summary recommendation. I've now come to you and gotten your recommendation. I'll be taking those to the council.
So you'll present them?
Okay,
Correct.
so I mean, like, this packet's good enough? I don't have to put like
I
a
think
cover
so.
letter saying this is our presentation with my signature since I'm the chair and all that stuff?
No, I would just put a date on it,
Okay.
as of this date, and then
We need to vote on it?
Yeah.
I think you would want to
full
have
concurrence,
consensus.
Yeah.
that it's there.
Marchant, when will this be presented to the council?
The work session end of this month.
Okay.
So, and the idea is going to be, this is kind of the interim step. You're going to take all this information, the council's going to go ahead and make their recommendation on further refinements of the plan. And they can either pick one and go with that, or they can ask for refinements, but they're going to send this, take all this information. I'm going to help them put a concise recommendation together, send it back to the consultant. They're going to further refine the plan, remove or add elements per our direction. That'll come back. It'll either go back through the groups again, or it'll be adopted by the council and go from there. And I think out of that, much like this master plan, then you set a priority work. You know, do we want to do phase 1 is X, B, and C, phase 2 is this, phase 3 is this, and then move forward from there. So you will see a final product before, I think we take a final vote.
Okay. So I guess right now, the only modifications we're going to do this is slap a date on it and remove the personal content.
Okay.
Everyone happy with that? Mm-hmm. We all set the vote? Okay. All in favor of this being our final recommendation, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Cool.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Oh, you're working on it? You need to
Are you abstaining?
slow down.
I think what I'll do is abstain.
Okay. One abstain. Okay. I'm going to put this in your hands then, Denise, and you can coordinate who to pass it to, Michelle, whatever. We're good.
Done.
Wow. That was quicker than I expected it to be.
No, it's a comprehensive, thanks again for doing all that work.
We discussed it a lot.
Hugely.
It needed to be put down on paper, and I wasn't sure if I was capturing everybody's ideas.
This was great.
Okay. Well, that's all on the agenda.
What about Winterham?
Winterham, oh. Wasn't on the agenda, write that in, Winterham. Winterham, okay.
I do have more than one copy of that. I keep throwing it around.
Now, we have, I guess, about the Winterham paint job. Look at the COA that we approved.
Did you?
I don't know if I got that.
Here, you can read this.
Did you all get a print out of that? I have so many things
Gave it to you,
floating
but just
around.
use that one, because I already read it, so.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I originally thought that the color of the siding wasn't correct, but it is. I guess what's making it look so dark is the fact that all the trim around the windows is painted black, and they painted the stone on the bottom foundation, they painted that black. And they painted the roof shingles black.
You painted the roof shingles. They were black before.
No, it's been painted.
I gotta, hold on.
Let me see that. It looks like it's been, the shingles, there's paint over top of them or tar. I mean, there's something on top of the shingles. It's not just shingles.
Like where they're shiny?
No.
Like,
Yeah, what is,
spots where they're shiny? So to-
No, it's like, if you walk up there and you look at the roof, it,
they have here classic white for the trim.
Right, which they didn't trim, I don't know if they meant just the window panes, but they didn't around the window.
Those are pictures I took before they painted it.
yeah, but when you walk up, you can tell
It's
that
black.
the shingles have, no, I know it was black, but
Yeah, but I know.
it's like been painted over top of the shingles.
I wasn't very looking because
Yeah.
it has a sheer, like a sheen to it,
No, I mean, it
to make it
looks
look like,
like,
it's supposed to look like slate, but I'll go and watch it.
Oh, really? Maybe that's what maybe the shearing, the
I don't know.
top
It-
coat on it is what's
To go look though.
made it look enhanced.
it looks tacky to me, I'm just saying.
I haven't seen that since I've been back in town.
And they also redid the porches with Trex for the flooring, and they,
The flooring was,
was it already
it
there?
was already tracked. So when,
So when did they do that?
about 10 years ago. When whoever the group that bought the house, they replaced the windows with, I would argue, a far less quality window than the sash frames. They redid all the siding with hardy plank. They put the architectural shingles that's supposed to look like the slate on the roof, and the whole deck was replaced with the Trex, the gray Trex
Yeah, I never noticed that before.
flooring. So.
And that was all approved?
I have no idea if it was approved or not, because it was even before my time, but it was,
Before mine, too.
yeah, but they reflect, now they put the stairs on the front, the concrete stairs, which they had done as part of the site plan, and the handicap ramp on the side was also done as part of the original site plan.
It has no railings on the handicap ramp.
I don't know that they're done yet, so, with that stuff, so. I'm more than willing to walk through the property with you and figure out what's happened, just, I guess I was short-sighted in thinking it looked, all the shutters are back up, all the other
I
stuff's back.
think from a
so,
distance,
Yeah,
and when you get up close, you're like, wow. They didn't do a very good job.
I haven't looked at it up close.
so I enforce, I guess I'm technically the enforcer of the ordinance and your rulings, so I can follow up with you and with the applicant and figure out what's going on, so. I know there was some concern that the gingerbread relief was painted a different color. That was kind of lost when it was painted white, so.
That to me didn't stand out as much as,
No, I didn't even know it existed until they painted it a different color.
Yeah.
But they didn't say they were going to. I think that was part of the concern.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is when you go back, see where they did the roof, the trim, talk about the trim around the windows being black instead
I
of,
mean, it was black, but they asked to paint the trim white or cream or,
Trim Monterey white.
Monterey white.
and is that not trim? I mean.
I would consider that trim. I thought that was,
I think I remember that being black too, so it may have just been one of those things where they were replacing it in kinds.
which they could
Also,
do
the
without
side door on the
usually.
house is black, on the side
It's
door on this
black.
is black.
The door is still black?
On the
door on
side,
the west side.
yes, the side towards the ice rink is black.
By the handicap?
Yes,
ramp?
by
Okay.
that ramp, yes. The door on the side of, that's Fayette, right?
The west side.
Yeah, on the,
Why
on
didn't
the
they make
east
that red
side.
too?
The door on the east side is the red, like the front door.
Oh. Then why didn't they do
No,
the
I,
other?
no, I did notice, yes, that all the doors are painted black. They were previously white.
And they didn't have that in the,
No, the front door was originally black, but the doors on either side were white. The what do you call them, the doors on the east side, like, what are you talking about, Fayette?
which would have been better left, the color of the trim.
And then they painted the
Black.
front doors red. So I'll talk to him about the trim. What about the color of the foundation?
Oh, they made it black? I'd have to go actually look at it. 'cause
Like
it
if
doesn't
you're,
really
let me see what the picture.
Before it wasn't treated, it was just.
So you can see down.
Hold in here on what color it would be, but at the Cornice Revere, I'm assuming that's what they
You see down
painted.
here, this is like, I don't know if it's stacked stone. I mean, you can't really tell what it is now that it's painted over.
It's stone.
Is it
Yeah.
stone?
But
Stone and
what
brick.
would you consider the Cornice Revere? Is that the trim that they painted black? Right, because that's supposedly a pewter. The thing is, they mention colors in their description, and the palette that we got here does not have those colors.
So remember when they came through, they were selecting
wouldn't
colors
go
that
for that
didn't match the
meeting.
palette. So they went and got colors that they were trying to have, and they came in and they matched it to our palette.
That was the meeting you missed.
Yeah, I missed that meeting.
So there was a thing in there that said pending, that the samples closely match the Sherwin-Williams approved samples. So,
And
because-
what was in here was what was supposed to match.
so then they couldn't find apparently Sherwin-Williams to match, so then they went ahead and used Benjamin Moore historic colors, or vice versa.
Or here somewhere.
Yeah.
It's probably in the front of your binder. I've got one in the front of my, you
No,
know.
these are in,
Not that.
no,
Well, and really, they didn't, did they,
That's,
I realize they said they were going to paint the trim a certain color, but because they replaced it with black, since it was a replacement, they didn't even really need to come
This is what they,
and offer that up, correct?
what is.
Correct. If they replace in kind, then they don't have to come back. So looking at these other pictures of what it used to look like, yes, all the trim around the windows were white. Yeah, basically it matches what's there today.
Right. So if you replace the same, you don't actually have to ask
Right.
ARB approval.
Now, what they did
But
do
they did
was,
say they were gonna paint the trim.
Trim.
To me,
I thought that that was part of
That's
it.
trim.
Correct.
I mean, that's just me, but
Then you do see in the original picture, the doors were white, what do you call them, the porch doors?
Which would have been better, I think, to left to match the trim than
And I'm sorry, Susan,
I'm sorry.
the black. It just seems like a dark hole right there.
I'm sorry, the brick was black.
You got a
You
picture,
see it?
right?
I'm sorry.
You can see they painted the whole window trim black.
Marshall, that doesn't look black.
Look at the bottom, adjacent to the dirt.
Yep, he's right, that's black.
Whoever painted it oversprayed
All the way
white
around,
on it.
yeah.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
But if you look at the picture for those pallets, you would assume that the windows would be trimmed.
Right.
the
This is Marshall,
white
this is
color.
the,
What we expected when they, but, and if you look here,
I guess the other thing too is, what do you call the whole, in the dormers, I forget
see,
the, where'd John go? John, what do you call
what do you call that?
these
trim up
round
there?
discs up in the dormers?
Oh,
The
Soffit fence?
louver vents, just around.
Yeah, the louver vents before were white, so.
it just wasn't what I expected from what we approved. If
So you would like me to follow up on the,
Yeah, so that-
me, I mean,
so wouldn't you think
That-
that
that
this
cream-
or
up
cream
here,
color.
everybody else thinks.
The
I
window
mean,
head and the window sill.
Well, if it doesn't match
should
what
be
we
the cream color?
should have
Right.
been the cream
I mean,
color.
that's my
And if there is any
interpretation. I felt like when we
trim
approved
between the
those
shutter
Should
and
be
colors, that
cream.
that's not what it was gonna look like.
So
the
that,
trim would have been painted white,
the
the doors would have stayed white.
No,
Front doors would have
The
stayed
doors
white.
should be red.
no, they
no, they
said,
asked to paint the door red.
they asked to paint the door red, that was
And there was
approved,
carriage
but it
red.
Well, no, on
says,
either side, I think they were white, I think we probably.
Yeah.
oh, yeah, well, trim Monterey white. And they only said door carriage red, they didn't talk about, and it went by us to
But
bring
there
up
were-
the other doors.
But the two, the one on Fayette and the one on, in the parking
On
lot area,
Washington,
on the front of the building.
facing Washington.
Those are both carriage red. The one at the top of the handicap ramp is black, along with all the trim around the door.
And the patio doors on the Fayette Street side are also now black. They were white.
Patio, on the back or on the,
No, the side porch facing
Yeah,
Fayette.
they're red. They're red, Marshawn.
The picture, the front doors and the side doors?
Yep.
That's just all kinds of black.
Yeah.
right, and so you would think that all of this, since there's no shutters, would be cream, but,
You would think.
because that's what they said they were
Well,
going
yeah,
to
I mean,
do.
and that's what
It's
you
red.
said.
They were black to begin
You
with.
presented us this and said, this is the color scheme we want to use, so we kind of, it's a reasonable assumption that that's what they were going to do.
But they were originally black, and they kept them black.
It doesn't matter what they originally were.
No, I
They
know, but
came-
when
It
you-
was originally white, and they didn't keep it originally white, so,
Okay.
they can't.
Well, let me go
Susan
have
has
a,
point.
let me go have a phone call with them. I mean, maybe there's a situation where the owner's gonna go back and say, well, you didn't paint it the way we're supposed to paint it, so.
And look at the
Oh,
roof
yeah,
too, would you?
If it's still light, I can go, well, no. it's not.
No, it's too dark.
I'll find time to meet over there with you so I can see what you're talking about. I mean, if we could all agree, it looks a heck of a lot,
Oh, definitely.
yeah. I mean, all the shutters back up and all the other stuff.
I don't know. What they told us, that what they want to do is pop in the street.
I'm being told over here I'm long-winded.
Okay.
But
So what questions do we want Marchand to throw forward then on this? So he has
Trim around the windows,
Okay?
the roof. I mean, after you look at it, let's look at it
Okay.
first and see. What
the
else?
side door,
Side door
the doors
black.
that are black.
Okay.
There's one door that's black though, right?
The one side door is the only one black?
Black, and they're all supposed to be red?
Color of this.
Well,
It seems to me
They never
that that should
specified
be
in
the
that.
color of this, and
We were
Just the
concerned with the
doors
front
red.
door, so we assumed.
They would all be consistent, like, all be consistent.
Where's the front view?
I don't have an issue with it, but they never said they were going to do that.
Do two-toned.
Which, it obviously is better, it brings it out. So, I mean, it's just, obviously, there were some discrepancies. That was just a discrepancy, not that it turned out to be a bad one.
think it just brings it to our attention too, how specific we need to be when these people come before us.
Hopefully, hopefully the barn will look the way it's supposed to.
That's one of the questions.
That was fun.
You don't really get that from over here. The relationship.
Could be amusing.
But yeah, if you get a chance to go to Winterham, do take a look.
have to go up
The stained
close.
glass, they open up the stained glass on the doors. The lease sign's down, so hopefully they have a tenant. So- Now, I'm sorry, so
That's what they do. So I wouldn't know.
supposed to follow up with the trim,
The color of the roof possibly.
Whoever's
Color
gonna
roof.
rent that place is.
side doors, okay?
Well, sorry, guys, but Susan, I'd like you to lead what you wanted here, since I
just
wasn't
did.
around there
You
this
just
time.
did.
So you're getting that down? Okay.
Yeah, we just didn't know if
Sorry.
you wanted to add anything else. That's why we were calling
Well,
you
see,
back in.
You know, my interpretation can only be from the documentation,
Right.
since I wasn't there.
But
So
still.
Yeah.
I definitely,
It's just, it seemed like we had quite a lengthy discussion with them about the colors, if I do remember that correctly.
And the fact that, they were bringing this in, so this was what was on our, and as you can see, the windows are very dark
yeah.
compared. And when
I'll
you say
do that.
trim, I assume they meant auto trim.
Yes,
Mr. Chairman, real quick, to be opportunistic, did most of you notice that the McCormick house is up for sale?
Which one's the McCormick?
The house, it's on Fayette. It's the old little cabin structure behind the
Oh,
rectory.
I did.
It is the
I
oldest
did.
structure in Haymarket, one of the two survivors of the burning in Haymarket in 1862. It's believed to have been the court clerk's house when the Haymarket was a
It
district
sits
court. in
pretty far
1800.
back off the road.
It did,
so
but I'm just, now that it's up for sale, I'm just hoping that
somebody will.
someone that wants to buy it for what it is, but anyway.
Something other than a
Good
McMansion.
luck on that.
Yeah, I did notice that the other day when I drove by.
What's that?
Good luck on that.
Well, hopefully someone will buy it. I mean, I think it,
local business owners is interested.
Oh, good.
so.
Glad to hear
Keep
that.
To
it
get a
in-house or-
demolition permit or two? I'm just asking.
That was my worry, is, I mean, anyway. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Marshawn.
No problem.
Okay, so you got what you needed?
I do. I will get my camouflage on and my
I was over
my
there,
sniping gear, and I
I
will
was over there
investigate.
trying to be nonchalant, and one of the boys that lives in the
Don't mind me
condos
with my
upstairs was
camera.
yelling at me off the balcony, and I'm like,
he
really, I'm
does that.
trying to be nonchalant, and nobody noticed me.
Okay, now the agenda has been completed.
Yes.
So do I have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Adjourned at 5 till 9.